Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. The Milwaukee Rep's 2016-17 season is in full swing, and their mission is to ignite positive change in the cultural, social, and economic vitality of our community, as well as to inspire meaningful dialogue. I'd like to start off talking about how the Rep goes about doing just that. My first guest is Leda Hoffman, who is the Director of Community Engagement. Hi, Leda.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
And like I said, I want to talk about the many ways that the Milwaukee Rep connects with the community. Let's start off with impact.
Yeah, so just a year ago, 2 years ago, when we changed our mission, we launched a program called MPACT with an M. And that is really the umbrella program that covers a lot of our programming in community engagement and in education. And we've got 3 pillars that we're working on. So diversity and inclusion, both internally at the Rep and in making inclusive conversations in the city. Strengthening and celebrating Milwaukee. We all know there's so many positive stories to talk about that we can focus on with the work that we do at the Rep, and literacy and social emotional learning. And so primarily underneath that umbrella, we're running a lot of programs with school children, particularly our reading residency program, which is teaching literacy skills through theater for middle school students.
That's good stuff. And the live theater is actually set up, in my opinion, in a way where individuals from different backgrounds can be exposed to different cultures, time periods, even issues that affect how we're living today. So actually to be able to have people come together and discuss those either before or after they see a production is powerful.
Yeah, you know, and I think theater is just a wonderful tool for empathy. You get to come and you get to listen to a story, an experience that in some way probably connects to your life, but also might open up a window to a world, whether a different culture, a different moment in history, a different experience of just a family dynamic. And you get to look at these different experiences that we put on stage. And because it's live theater, you're in a room with other people experiencing those same things, which we've found is just a great catalyst to get people to talk about the core issues of the work that we put on stage.
Yeah, and it's interesting with some of the talks that you do post. It's interesting how someone can feel one way in the beginning,
For sure.
and then really take away something totally different after witnessing a production, especially when you talk about issues like race and things of that nature. So you have obviously worn many hats at the Milwaukee Rep. Not only are you dealing with community engagement, but you directed Lady Day at the Emerson Bar and Grill, which is wrapping up October 30th, and now playing is the Royale, which causes one to look at race relations in America during the Jim Crow era and compare it to the issues and concerns that actually, in my opinion, that we're dealing with today.
For sure.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to one of the actors from the Royale coming up in the next segment. So I'm looking forward to discussing some of the background of the Royale, because it really is more about race than a boxing match, so to speak. So
it's one of those plays when we read as a group of senior staff at the Rep, I think going into season planning, that every single person unanimously said, we need to do this play. It's such a great, powerful script, and it also just deals with so many issues that we want to get our audiences talking about.
Absolutely. I mentioned you have your pre-show conversation that involves cast members, and then your talk back following select productions, and viewers can actually go online and find out when something's showing and when they'll be able to engage in that matter. But you've had Pete Ehrman from On Milwaukee, who's an expert on the history of black boxing in the city, to do a post-show discussion on the importance of boxing during the civil rights movement in Milwaukee. And there was also a boxing workshop with a former professional boxer, Alberto Mercedes. So I'm wondering, when do you have the opportunity to really dig into the people and the resources that we have here in the city and tie them into what's going on at the Milwaukee Rep.
Yeah, so one of the things that creating this community engagement department has allowed us to do is we've prioritized staff time to make sure that we can reach out to people and figure out who the experts are. I had the pleasure of interviewing Pete when he was there for our talk back, and he's just such a wealth of information, and it was so powerful to hear this man connect these issues happening in the Royale that happened in a different place at a different time to issues happening right here in Milwaukee, and to hear him talk about things that happened to do with race in boxing right here in our city. So just we're always looking for those community tie-ins for what that is. And Alberto from AMC Boxing led a workshop in our the lobby of our theater, and we had a bunch of people, you know, all sorts of ages come out and try some stuff out and hear his story. We're going to do that 2 more times, a couple Saturdays. So the dates are on our website for that if anyone wants to come out.
All right, go right to the website to get that information. Coming up on November 2nd, you've got local historian Randall Alley, who's talking about the real Jack Johnson and the impact of his life on American society. And of course, people will hear more about Jack Johnson in the next segment, but this too is pretty awesome. Yeah,
and you know, looking at a play based loosely on Jack Johnson's life, it's obviously so important to make sure that we can connect to the real histories. And you know, lots of people at talkbacks, which we have with the actors every week, have asked lots of questions about sort of the real facts that have to go into this play.
So the actors take away something as well.
Certainly.
Oh, wow. You've got what's called a professional training institute for young people, grades 8 through 12, who are, I'm guessing, interested in the performing arts as a career. So fill us in on that.
Yeah, so we decided we have such a huge number of young people in this city who are incredibly talented, and we have access at Milwaukee Rep to some of the best performers in the country. So we've set up a system so that I auditioned over 100 people for these 17 spots in our program.
Wow.
It's a really competitive program to get into, but we've found students from across the greater Milwaukee area, and they come together once a month at the Rep to do a master class. So they worked with Alexis and Abdul Hamid from the cast of Lady Day.
Wow.
Next week they'll be working with Nathaniel Stampley, who's the lead and is a
man of La Mancha.
A man of La Mancha, and he's got a great story because he's from Milwaukee, and now he has all these Broadway credits to his name, as well as performing at the Rep, so they'll get to connect with him. And then this summer, in July, we're going to put up a show featuring all of these young people who are in our professional training program, and they're going to be paid as professional actors to be a part of this professionally produced show.
I love that. And we should mention that Abdul Hamid Royal is also a native of Milwaukee.
Yes,
so when young people are able to really relate first with an actor saying, this is what I want to do, I want to go to Broadway, and then they find out that some of the people they come in contact with have the same stories and rode the same buses and grew up in the same neighborhoods as they did, it really does emphasize to them that that dream really is reachable. Yeah, I love it all. And last year, you guys partnered with the Bronzeville Arts Ensemble, which is pretty special when you think about some of the organizations that are struggling financially and trying to keep going. So you guys have found a way to really help when it comes to helping these organizations continue what they do.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to get a theater up and running.
Yeah.
And so by connecting Bronzeville Arts Ensemble and their mission of telling specifically African American stories, we were able to give them a space at our theater to work with. We work with them, you know, advising them on marketing, making sure that the ticketing system's all set up. And then, of course, Bronzeville is able to work with us. They helped organize a lot of the panel discussions we had around August Wilson's Fences last year. And so this was really just a wonderful collaboration. And Malkia, who's their artistic director, has just been a great friend of the theater and somebody who we can always be in touch with as we both work towards the same goal of this creating positive change.
That's wonderful. And speaking of partnerships, you have your pillar partners, Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee, the Milwaukee LGBT Community Center, and a whole list of others where you guys work together in really exposing young people or people who come through these organizations to the arts and making them really want more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we have so many community partners. the list could go on and on, but we
Yeah.
focused on these 10 and called them pillar partners because they're the first people that we reach out to when we have events like the free boxing workshop or the free flamenco workshop we had yesterday at the Rep in connection with
Wow.
Man of La Mancha. They also are the recipients of our Tiny Tim tickets for our annual production of A Christmas Carol, so we give free tickets to community organizations, and we're working very closely with our pillar partners on that. And they're going to start doing events at the Rep this year that are led by them, so that you really have these community-driven ideas showing up in Milwaukee Rep spaces. And then we can also go to those organizations for, you know, our kickoff rehearsal for Man of La Mancha was at the United Community Center, one of our pillar partners, and we can just create these symbiotic relationships.
I love that. So you also have Pearls for Teen Girls, the YMCA, or the YWCA, COA, Youth and Family Services. Like you said, the list goes on, and the leaders from these organizations actually make up your Impact Council. So it all goes hand in hand.
Yes,
Yeah,
does.
good stuff. Finally, just wanted to bring up something that I feel is really important, because really everything starts with young people. When you get them engaged and interested in something, then you really are putting them on the path to do wonderful things in life. So you do have a teen council. Tell us what that's all about and what they do.
Yeah, our teen council is going into its 6th or 7th year this year.
Okay.
It's been a long-standing program at the Rep, and the teen council, you know, there are lots of programs like the Professional Training Institute for training actors. There are programs to train technicians, and teen council trains teenagers to be theater advocates. So they meet bi-weekly. It's a group of teenagers and who also create events at the Rep for teens by teens.
Okay.
So they're going to put together an event where you can meet an actor from the show, have a pizza party, and then they all go to the play together. And they can do outreach into their high schools, into their groups of friends to really get other teenagers interested in theater. A number of them were able to attend the National TCG Theater Conference, which is the largest theater conference across the nation. And they went to Washington, D.C. and were able to advocate for teenagers in theater.
That's
and
awesome.
meet all of these playwrights and artistic directors. So we're also training future artistic administrators of the world, because we need those people as well.
Absolutely. And when you talk about the power of social media, so when other young people are seeing them at the Rep, checking out something and doing selfies with actors, whatever the case may be, it really does help spread the word about the good things that you're doing at the Rep.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So we've got a few shows that are wrapping up. I've had the privilege of seeing Man of La Mancha, Lady Day, and the Royale. Man of La Mancha and Lady Day wrapping up October 30th, the Royale on November 6th. Throw out a couple of other productions that our viewers need to be looking out for.
So The Foreigner is coming up it premiered at Milwaukee Rep and now is one of the most produced comedies across the nation and even in the world. So we're doing The Foreigner by Larry Shue is up next in the Powerhouse. Later this year in the spring, we're going to follow up The Royale and the Steam Key with Grounded, a play about a female fighter pilot who starts flying drones. So lots of very interesting issues going on in that show, as well as we have a lot of programming for veterans when we do that show as well.
Good stuff. They can always go to the website. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Continued success, and it's been a pleasure.
Great, thanks.
Leda Hoffman is the Director of Community Engagement for the Milwaukee Rep. For more information, visit MilwaukeeRep.com or call 414-224-9490. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, I'll be joined by a member of the cast from the Royale, which is playing now through November 6th. We'll meet Mr. Cedric Turner right after this.